English. You know why you need to know English? Because yesterday we walked near the dog beach, which I'm not going to do today. For this, first of all, I have to go to work. Second of all, to teach English actually. And second of all, at this time we went to the beach, dog beach. I let my dog free, and all of a sudden I see a man raising a chair. First I thought he was working at the beach, like he was part of the staff. It took me a while to figure out what was going on. And he was raising a plastic chair, about to throw it at my dog, who was barking at him. So how do you get out of this situation? I spoke to him and said, hey, I know you're trying to protect yourself, but this is really not the way. Because the dog doesn't, she's not going to react favorably if you raise a chair at her. Anyway, he was about to throw it. Later on, I saw in the news that there was a huge mob of Eriterian people that are seeking refuge in Israel, and they're like having a war that can only be called as a war with stones and metal rods, throwing it at each other. The Israeli police had to intervene. Of course, there's this amazing photographers who are filming this and making it look like we're the most racist country in the world. I don't deny there is racism, probably, but you would be surprised where the racism is coming from. And I don't think it's more than Europe, that's for sure. But anyway, I was shocked at what's going on in South Tel Aviv. The stores are being destroyed. Businesses were destroyed by these Eriterian who are fighting each other. Now the sad truth is Israel is providing weapon to that regime, but let's be clear, so does most of Western Europe is dealing with weapons with all kinds of regimes. There are probably many of them are trying to destroy our country. So let's keep it balanced. Of course it's horrible and I'm against those kind of deals, but I don't know what's going on. All I know is that our mayor is like coming there and speaking, instead of talking about how we need to protect the citizens, he's saying how he's the only one who treats them like human beings. Well, they're human beings, of course, but they should be human beings in their country and not coming to our country that already has so many problems. Among it, one of the biggest conflicts in the world, the Mideast conflict between the Jews and the Arabs here, and we also coexist. It's a very complex situation. Why the heck would you bring another conflict in? And why do the residents that are citizens of South Tel Aviv, who are paying taxes, who have businesses, they are told not to get out of their houses. They're not allowed to leave their homes because of refugees that are having a war in their streets. And not to mention the children. I worked with Eriterian children. They're lovely children, but one would wonder, why would you decide to have large families if you're a refugee unless you plan on staying and taking advantage of the much better conditions here? For us, Israeli citizens, the conditions are not very good because the money goes not towards us, not towards our benefits, people who serve in the army, but it goes towards people who come out of nowhere. And all of a sudden they have an education system for them, they have separate kindergartens, they have all kinds of help that normal Israeli citizens do not receive. The education system here is in a terrible state, and yet there's money to build a whole education system for Eriterian. They hire teachers, assistants, they get special needs help, and a lot of them have special needs. They're traumatized. The children really deserve so much better. But guess what? Guess who's not being taken care of? Israeli children who really need help. All kinds of children, all kinds of problems do not receive help because there's no budget. And if you are, as an Israeli citizen, you need help, you can wait a long time till you receive it. Well, they get help immediately. So I'm just thinking, what kind of country we live in that takes care of other people and doesn't take care of its own citizens? And there's always budget for them, no budgets for us. And that comes from left-wing policies that always, they have enough. They are very wealthy, the people on the left, which is why they don't take care of people, just regular people, because they don't realize that not everybody is wealthy and can just relax, take it easy, and give money to other people, which is why the left is destroying this country. And with the stupid demonstrations to take up police force, and meanwhile the problems are not being solved. Middle East conflict is not being resolved in any way, and the left that talks about peace is not making peace. They're making war on the government, they're making war on everybody, because I don't know why, and they're bringing in people that have no business living here. They have no connection. Meanwhile, the Ethiopian Jews are being treated horribly, and they don't bring them to Israel. And yet they bring these people that have no connection to Israel here. Well, the Ethiopian Jews are serving the army and contribute so much, and are lots of times being treated badly. Recently, a 4-year-old boy was killed in a car accident, and the driver is not even in prison. She didn't even have to face a sentence. And we have court system that is largely made up of left-wing judges who are always going towards certain political biases, and it's really disgusting that these Ethiopian people are being treated so badly. Well, if the Eriterian people have no business here, can wage a war in the south and do whatever the hell they want. It's time to send them back to their country and to bring in our brothers and sisters from Ethiopia and to treat them so much better. To have lawyers that will defend them. There's so many lawyers in this goddamn country. Can there be at least 1 or 2 lawyers that are going to stand up for Ethiopian people and stand up to the judge? But no, they are also trying to fight reform in the court system, which is clearly biased towards helping certain people and not helping others. And meanwhile, Ethiopians, they do so much for this country, and yet they get treated so badly. And this is the greatest injustice of Israel, I believe, more than anything else. And yet the left is not concerned with Ethiopian Jews. They're not concerned with how they're being pushed. They don't even have, they don't live in Tel Aviv, most of them. That's the sad truth. Because guess who lives in Tel Aviv? They're Eriterian people who have no business living here in the first place. So that's what I have to say about it. So if you see on the news what a racist country Israel is, realize it's racist against its own people, not against other people, first of all. Peace, light, and love.